I was hanging out, with Colin and the baby on Instagram, and he was getting her to point out the body parts, and she's pretty good at it. Ears, nose, eyes, and then he points out, right, boobies. And then he names the other things, right? And I said, I'm glad that you're teaching her the real names of these things, because what we've seen, there's a little bit of a trigger warning, but I'm going to say some terms. What we've seen is kids will not know the correct names of things. And then they'll come home and saying, oh yeah, I was touched by my so-and-so, right? By this thing, by my whoopee or whatever. And then the teachers won't recognize what the hell that means. Or the parents won't know what that word means. So by teaching the correct language and terminology, now if there's a certain issue that's going on to being touched, they're using the correct language, which is helping with victims being hurt, right? Because now the kids are able to like, oh, wait a minute, you tell the parent, hey, they touched my vagina, hey, they touched my wiener, right? Penis. Right. And sorry to use those words, but we need to know that it's a really cool thing we've seen as therapists in the community, but also parents should be aware of too. I thought it was really cool that they were naming these things. Yep. So
I agree.
Have you used the terminology with your kids or no back in the day? Or were you like, this is your nana, your gumbo pot?
Nana.
No. For me, it was, my grandma was very literal. Bless her soul. She was like, okay, well, you have a scrotum and you have a penis.
Oh my God.
Damn, she's getting details. Shit.
And my 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old now, she knows that boys have penises.
Okay. Hey.
She goes, I have a penis.
There you go. Don't say that in the grocery store.
I have a penis. You're like,
She has. And we were on our way to drop her off for school one day, and she was saying it in the car, something about penis, like I'm like, stop saying penis. She goes, penis. I have penis. Girls have vaginas.
That's awesome, though. Let's be real. Kids gonna be an anatomy physiologist, right? I mean, they're gonna be smart. They're gonna know their body parts
based off that.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't know what mine was until like it was peeing everywhere, so I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Like sprinkler. Like
So yeah, no, my kids definitely know the
terms.
Right terms. Even though my girls prefer to say coochie because it's more fun.
I mean, hey, well, who doesn't at this point in their life?
I'm gonna go ahead and pivot out of this conversation.
Yeah, there it is.
So
there it is.
Spence, let's get into that next scene.
Yeah, so they're
it makes no sense.
How to really
There's no context for this scene. There's no
really
context.
I guess, okay, so the two dads, Jeff Garlin and Eddie Murphy, they are trying to teach these kids a better way of, they're trying to have fun, but they're also trying to teach them a better way about how vegetables are actually good for you and how you can have them in a fun way, but then, you should also eat them. Because before, they were just feeding them like all types of unhealthy shit, like fucking Hostess shit, all of that. Candy, all of that, and just to make them like pass out from the sugar rush. That was that was literally why they gave them all this sugar.
I forgot that.
Yeah, and so they saw that these kids are they're getting sick from eating all the sugar and everything like that, so they're finding new ways to eat healthier. And so they brought in these suits that they used for like their vegetable cereal, and they use them in a fun way to kind of help with that. And so I love the fact of this scene of that, like we talked about before, of like these dads, they're taking something that's not fun, that's gross to many kids, but then turning into fun, something that they can actually enjoy, right? Who doesn't love vegetables wrestling? Come on now.
Yeah.
So have you had this where you had to, pivot something that was not so fun for your kids, but then try to make it fun and then have them enjoy it because, for them, it's going to help them in the end to make them healthier or, better in certain ways?
Not every day, but a lot of the time you have to make the boring and the mundane not boring and mundane.
Okay.
Even though being bored and mundane is really good for kids, it's really good for them to be bored.
Okay.
And they don't have to be stimulated all the time, because if they're stimulated all the time, then that can be overstimulation. But if they're bored, then that's where I feel creativity comes from. And so you have to make certain things fun and exciting for kids to want to do and to buy into. Also, at the same time, you do also have to just kind of force them to go, even though you try to make it fun, you try to make it exciting, you know that they're going to have fun. And so you still do have to force your children to go and do things that they may not want to do right away. But once they're there and doing it, they're having fun. And then you get to have an I told you so moment later, which is always very gratifying and rewarding as a parent to I told you so your kids. And so, yeah, it's important to
You got
make
examples?
me think. My girls are pretty go with the flow, honestly,
Okay.
where it just takes a little bit of redirection to make things fun. But sometimes they just don't want to leave the house. And so
Okay.
it's like, okay, well, we're going to go have fun, or we got a surprise for you, or something like that. And then they get something very super simple. Maybe we go and get them an ice cream cone or something, and they just get like a little extra treat. Um, I guess when my younger one was when they started eating more vegetables and whatnot, trying to make the vegetables like fun. This is a good example. Olives are the most fun, right? Or trying to try something new, or do something new, or try a new food. So olives, putting the olives on the fingers is always fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Olives on the fingers is the best. And so that's a good way to get them engaged and kind of get some of that stimulation, or getting them involved in the cutting of cucumbers and whatnot. They make these plastic knives. They're Montessori knives.
Yep.
I think that's what they're called. And they're
Yep.
just plastic knives, but they cut. So it gets them engaged and involved with the food that they're going to be eating and trying, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so making it fun, or turning them into dinosaurs. Okay, dinosaurs, whatever they're into. Okay, you're a big dinosaur right now. Eat your broccoli like it's a tree, kind of thing. Exactly. Yes, just like
That's
that.
a
Just like that.
terrifying fucking dinosaur. Run. Don't. No.
Yeah. So
El
you have to make
Cucuy.
different things fun. Like if they're into something, it's like, okay, well, if you're this, then you got to do this, kind of
Okay.
thing. So using what they're into against them in a way to get them to do something fun. So then it's like, okay, big dinosaur bites, and then they're taking huge bites of their vegetables versus little tiny baby bites, and they're just eating them and they're enjoying them, kind of thing. So
Okay. So Colin's been doing that with the girl. She's got this little booster stand thing, and she stands and she's cutting up the stuff with him at 1.5. Right. And he's, she ain't actually cutting anything. She's just moving shit around. That's all she's doing.
yeah,
But it's making her active with the foods, and right, they're naming it and talking about it. What color is it? How many slices is that? Right. And she's learning. But I'm a pivot. This is obviously sarcasm, people. But the kitchen is for a woman. You shouldn't be having no kid. As a man, the woman should be in the kitchen. Why are you in the kitchen, Jay? You shouldn't be in there.
I love being in the kitchen. My dad's a cook. My dad was a cook for a good part of his life.
Okay.
My uncle was a cook while I was growing up. And so I've seen men in the kitchen, like a lot, kind of thing. So I've seen that example. And so I like being in the kitchen. I like cooking. I like making a meal for my family that they enjoy, kind of thing. And it's fun. It's relaxing. One of my favorite things to do when we get the kids back is to make our menu for the week, and then take the kids grocery shopping for everything, and then have them help put it away. And then, so they're involved in the food, they're involved in the process, they know what to expect, and it makes everything easier. I had a really good conversation I'm trying to think of the episode here, with John Canal, I don't know, but he wrote this cookbook right here. I have a copy.
Hold it to your chest. No, hold it to your chest.
Hold it to my chest.
Yep. Oh, hold to your face, maybe.
Lippery, peppery. What does that say?
Never mind.
It's got to be chest.
Nope. Yep.
It's
chest.
preppy. It's preppy kitchen. Super easy recipes.
Preppy kitchen.
100 super easy and versatile recipes. And so John and I had this conversation back on the podcast just about getting kids in the kitchen and how important that is for just their development. Because I saw this TED Talk once about how language skills are developed. And a lot of the language skills that are developed are, of course, within the home. But I want to say it was like 60% of the language skills that were developed in the home are within the kitchen and the dining room area.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's a basic need, right?
Yep.
Everyone's got to eat and drink. And so we have to be able to communicate in that space. We have to learn the language of that space. We have to learn the things to do in that space for survival at a point too. So it's really interesting. It was a really good conversation. It was back on episode 146 of the podcast. So
there you go. So Right, that was being sarcastic. Obviously, I'm trying to point out that it's awesome for you to be in the kitchen. It's awesome to be in there with your girls. It's awesome to role model that this is what a good, healthy man looks like, right? One that can take care of himself, but then also cook for his family. So you feminize what masculinity is, what a man is, but you can also still be strong in your own masculinity, right? It's good for your girls to see that. It's good for young boys to see that. Right? If they only see mom in the kitchen, if they only see mom at home. Spencer, you talked about Eddie Murphy's kid, right? He was quiet, shy, weird, depressive, right? His dad's not talking to him. And then his dad starts coming around. Now he's getting love from his mom and his dad. And you see the kid get bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to do a quick pivot, and then we'll get into the last scene.
Even this scene right here with the broccoli and the carrot is that his Eddie Murphy's son in this scene says he's going for the carrot.
Yep.
So the other dad, who has been showing him that love, that attention, that interaction, versus Eddie Murphy, who's been giving all these other kids, but his own son, attention during this daycare kind of thing.
Correct.
So,
I forgot about that plot line.
So that's like a little thing here that plays into that too. So
yep. I was just going to mention, like, when my father got out of prison, everything changed. Now I had this male individual around me, and this is what you do. This is how you act. This is how you work. This is how you cook. This is how you treat men. This is how you treat women. Changed a lot of things when that happened. And right, I was 13 at the time, and he went away, I think, when I was like 4-ish, 5-ish. So it doesn't matter really what age. It's always good to have both of your parents in your life. Doesn't matter what gender, just both is magnificent. But if you are looking for a male figure or role model, it's good to have. Spencer, when we talk about therapy, they'd be like, you know, my old boss, she used to be like, no, it's good for you to work with her. I said, why? Because you need to show her what a good dude looks like. If they've always been hurt or have always been abandoned, maybe you could help rewrite some of those trauma wounds. I was like, holy shit, okay. So I teach a lot of my interns and coworkers, like, there's a lot going into this. You represent like all of men in that moment. You represent all the folks of color, all indigenous, all queer-based individuals, all autistics in that moment. That's a lot of fucking pressure in the therapy or mental health or just health profession. But still, it's good to mirror. It's good to show. So this broccoli scene is fucking hilarious. Have you ever dressed up as anything? Have you ever dressed up? You know, you ever put on a wig? Have you ever cosplayed for your kids? Like, you know, I know you've done something. You're weird.
No, I have, of course. I would say probably the one thing that my girls remember that's happened somewhat recently is we were getting like really hyped up about something. We were going crazy. And then I ended up ripping my tank top off my chest.
All right.
Just something wild. I don't
Hulk
remember the
Hogan.
context.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I went like full Hogan, ripped the tank top off my chest, and everyone was laughing and cracking up. And it was just like one of those like moments. So
there you go. I would love to dress up for the kid, for the little girl, right? But I just don't know. Nothing just fits me. So what am I going to dress up as?
Fucking.
Only thing that fits me is the Mario Brothers hat and gloves. So fat.
You could. I don't know, man. You could be. You could be just dressing up as that one big Asian dude from the Eternals. There you go.
There,
do that.
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh. There it is.
And goes the dude from Moana.
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6.
But where do I get the suit though? They only make those suits for like 150-pound like white kids though. Like
you're just gonna have to paint yourself white.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Check out the full episode on our channel and anywhere you find podcasts. Also, remember to like and subscribe. Whoop whoop.